let's talk about what technology is doing to the field and in the field. When because of these tools, with the camera phones and the digital cameras, we've now moved on to a 24/7 news cycle. You can take a photo, it's uploaded, it's public instantaneously. How do you, as photographers who have been in the field, who have trained, who sort of, you know, done the hard work, how do you protect your rights in this new era of technology?
About this big. I called it the mothership connection. and the card was this big, and if you dropped it, you were toast. And my first digital photograph for the New York Times was of the U.S. Open. And all my colleagues were like, oh, I hope we never have to use that thing, you know. And slowly but surely, we all ended up being digitized. I would make a joke about it, and they're like, no, we're kicking and fighting all the way to the end. We're holding on to our film. I said, all right. No digital, no doubt.
I remember an editor at the New York Times, he was a weekend review editor, said to me, he said, what do you prefer, the around-the-corner lenses or the honest lenses? And I said, well, what's an honest lens? And he said, well, honest lens is a lens that, you know, you have to kind of move into the ambiance of the moment. You know, you have to kind of get up close. Yeah. And one of the things that I did notice about Gordon Parks, and I was surprised to see that this didn't necessarily apply to Roy, and that is that Gordon Parks, at least in the photographs I've seen of him, he used honest lenses, meaning that I never saw him in a photograph with anything longer than, say, a 75 or 80 millimeter. They were like mostly normal lenses or below, you know, like a 35 millimeter wide angle lens. So I was wondering if Roy were to come up in this time, if he would appreciate the technology, and I would guess that he would.
Really found out about other photographers as well, that there were other photographers besides Gordon Parks and Roy DeCarava. You know, for years I would look at New York Times and I would see Ozier's work, and I used to be like, yo, who is this man here? Like, this guy is everywhere. You know, I'll see his work, I'll see Michelle's work, and this is one of the reasons why, you know, we're sitting here, and then, you know, the world is just small like that. So he's influenced me in that way, in that manner, and then through that led me to other photographers.
A few weeks ago, New York Times, Criminalizing Photography. Talk to us about the hostility, increasing hostility and arrests that photographers are going through. Where is that coming from?
You know, I think after 9/11, things, I mean, it was created in a fashion so that everyone could always be on edge. And, you know, there's people in here who probably agree with me on that point, but I can't begin to tell you. I mean, this happened after 9/11. I mean, when 9/11 happened, you know, I went there and I photographed, and it was crazy. But after that point, everything, you know, including when you go to take a plane, you're going through a totally invasive scenario to just ride a plane from here to there. I think it might be. I do think it is because of police. The police, just their structure, just the format, just the whole police culture itself doesn't really lend to. It doesn't really, like, for instance, like when I was doing Occupy Wall Street stuff, and there's a certain level of hostility that was there. Okay, let me back up. So I was arrested maybe two years ago. Yeah, no, this is true. And I was photographing this big fire. I don't know if James. I don't know. Maybe I was working with James, but it was a big fire. It was a 7-alarm fire in Chinatown. I think 2 people were killed. So I had knocked on the door, and someone came downstairs, opened it up. I told them, you know, who I was, where I showed my credentials. They said, lay me up to the roof. So I went to the roof and photographed everybody up there on the roof with a video camera, with the iPhone and so forth. The cops come up to the roof. They tell everyone they got to get off the roof because they're trespassing to that extent. So I'm the last person to leave, and police are pushing me down the flight of stairs, which is like, I'm going down. I'm not going up. I'm going down this flight of stairs. These guys pushed me down a flight of stairs. I missed some steps, and these are police officers, young police officers. You know, they maybe like just got out of the academy, they listened to Hot 97. It's just, so then they arrested me, basically stating that I was resisting arrest. And the only reason why they did that is because I slipped and I fell, so they wanted to cover up. So if I did have any injuries, they could say, oh, he resisted arrest, that's why we had to arrest him, that's where the injuries came from. So they were just basically covering their asses. So going back to what I was saying, there's a certain level of hostility that is applied to photographers. I've been told many times, don't take any photographs of me, even though, you know, they're in public, they're on city property, you know, I'm not invading anyone's personal space, I'm not photographing into anyone's house. It's just really them working.